Happy holidays, everyone. We have a really exciting present coming our way. Jupiter enters Pisces on December 29th and will stay in the sign of the fish until May 10th. What a great, beautiful energy to make up for all the challenges we've been through in December. I think it's a really lovely note to end on. While Venus, of course, is still retrograde, it's still wonderful news. Let's break it down for each rising sign and talk a little bit about the general significance of this event. My name is Anastasia. For those of you who don't know, I'm a traditional Western astrologer. I focus on natal and predictive readings. There's a link down below if you'd like to book a reading with me. I'm also currently doing year ahead special readings. So if you're interested in getting one to find out what's ahead for you personally, you can DM me on Instagram. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. Leave me a comment or a like. I really appreciate all of those. So Jupiter entering Pisces, we have had that in 2021 from May 13th until July 28th. So that would have been a preview of what's coming in 2022. Take a look at those months and see what kind of opportunities presented in your life. What was going really well? What happened to you in that period? Jupiter is a planet of growth, abundance, faith, optimism, opportunity. It's the greater benefic. It brings really nice things into our life. A lot of times Jupiter is connected more with social things because Venus is a lesser benefic and Venus is connected to personal desires. Jupiter deals with opportunities for growth and expansion into your life. So Jupiter in Pisces is Jupiter in its home sign. Cannot get better than that. Jupiter is happy in Sagittarius and Cancer, of course, as well, but it's quite nice to have Jupiter in Pisces for the next 5 months. We can expect to feel more spiritually uplifted, and we don't have to always think of the negatives. Jupiter has been traveling with Saturn for almost 2 years, except for that brief period in 2021. So Saturn deals with limitations. Saturn is skeptical. So when Jupiter was in Aquarius or in Capricorn before, every time we would have thought about an opportunity, there could have been a voice in the back of our head or quite literal, societal lockdown where you couldn't do things. So Jupiter being in Pisces is quite promising for all the matters related to travel. So perhaps limitations and border limitations will lift, and borders will open up, at least in some places. Education, all of the matters connected to spirituality and imagination. Jupiter will conjoin Neptune in April, so both have a little bit of similar energy, uplifting, high-minded, focused on the good of society. There's of course also negative things that come with Jupiter and Neptune both. And that sometimes is a tendency to overdo it because Pisces is a very boundless sign, right? You take that energy the wrong way and it's sometimes connected to drinking too much, playing games too much, sleeping too much, negative ways. So try to keep your feet on the ground, remain realistic, don't allow yourself to get swept away in a fantasy. If you come up with a new goal for yourself, I really like this idea of 2022 being called imagine a new reality. If you find a new way of dealing with things, if you get inspired, just make sure you have a solid plan. Jupiter in Pisces can be counteracted by Mercury in Virgo, or just in general Pisces. Virgo is the opposite, right? Virgo can get too stuck in details and Pisces can float away. When you bring those two together and find balance between them, then you feel happier. I think a good way to approach things would be asking yourself, obviously Venus is still retrograde, right? We are rethinking what matters to us. And with Jupiter in Pisces, ask yourself what is worth your time and what is worth serving. Because I think when we are so focused on our internal dramas, on our inner emotions and feelings, we may just not see outside of it, right? I've encountered someone recently who was just asking so many questions and trying to understand why something was happening to them. And all I just wanted to say was to shake them up and to be there's so much more than that, right? There's a purpose to it. look outside, see yourself as like an active doer versus someone who things just happen to. So I think Jupiter in Pisces can definitely encourage you to find a guiding force, like a guiding principle. It will be great for your beliefs. It will be great for empathy, getting along with people, feeling more aligned between your soul's purpose and your actual goals. Really beautiful energy. I like it. Just make sure that you are not, playing a martyr or pursuing things without staying grounded. And stay rational as much as you possibly can. So let's take it through all 12 rising signs and see what it might mean for you. So for Aries rising, Jupiter will enter your 12th house. And 12th house deals with matters of self-undoing, of isolation, of spiritual things and spiritual struggles. So I think for Aries rising, there might be a chance to rewrite things, a chance to release some things, especially if you are the one standing in front of your own future. Like if you're the one limiting yourself, how can you allow yourself to just like take a leap of faith, right? And some of you may discover something outside of yourself, because that's what 12th house deals with. It's like things that you cannot quite describe, 12th and 8th. And perhaps you discover faith, or you discover tarot, you lean into spirituality. There might be a lot of joy in therapy, yoga, astrology, any kind of less tangible things. For Taurus rising, Jupiter enters your 11th house. And this is a beautiful opportunity for all the Taurus risings to find ways to collaborate with other people on the projects. Jupiter in the 11th, Jupiter loves the 11th. Like Jupiter is in its joy in the 11th house, may bring a completion of a dream, completion of a cycle, something you've been working on for a really, really long time. And it's likely that the results will be positive, but it's also about how can you take this, what you've accomplished, how can you take all of your influence, for example, if you are a social media influencer, right? Like how can you take that and make a difference? How can you get involved with society in a whole other level? Because Jupiter makes you empathetic and more caring. And the 11th house gives you a lot of influence over a large group of people. And even if you're not a social media influencer, it still helps you uplift and inspire your group of friends. So I think for many of you, Jupiter being in your 11th house is really about like how can you find more fulfillment and direct your energy towards spiritual, social pursuits. For Gemini risings, Jupiter goes in your 10th house. Great vibes professionally, especially if whatever you are pursuing has some kind of teaching element. It will encourage you to share your wisdom, to share your knowledge with other people. Take a look back at May into July this year. What kind of projects were you pursuing? My Gemini rising friend was starting her podcast, and then things happened that she had to give up that project for a while. So what kind of things got started at the time? Maybe you're finding a new job, maybe you're finding a new career. You can definitely benefit from finding mentors and looking for mentors or teaching people. Definitely the more, I think, like selfless you will be, the better results. And also, like thinking of things you want to do professionally that, like I said, that are worth serving. What is something that is outside of you that you've always loved and you think it can help a lot of people? Something to ask yourself. For Cancer risings, I'm already seeing this with my best friend. Jupiter enters your 9th house. So you may expect opportunities connected to travel and education. She's literally been like offered to, get her PhD. So new professional opportunities that ask you to travel, perhaps just an opportunity to go back to school. Maybe you've been playing with that idea, moving, going on a long-term journey, on a long-distance journey. If you are a writer, there might be an opportunity to write something or publish your work. If you've been involved in any legal matters, they can resolve finally. and quite positively for you. I think another important thing for Jupiter in the 9th house is also just allowing yourself to believe, and also just like enjoying studying and opening yourself up to these new ideas and new people, talking to people of other cultures and like learning so much. Yeah, you will be pulled, I think, in the realm of education, and reading, writing, teaching will be extra fun. For Leo rising, Jupiter enters your 8th house. So 8th house is the house of shared resources, and it's usually money that comes to you through other people. So with Jupiter traveling through your 8th house, look back at May into July 2021 and see if there were any professional opportunities, if you've received any money, because this might be a repetition of that. So you can expect to receive a financial bonus. Maybe someone brings you an opportunity, maybe you receive an inheritance or some other kind of financial bonus, return on investment, a tax, like an extra big tax rebate. Definitely good financially. 8th house also deals with healing and fears. And, you know, it's the house of debts. And debts have so much baggage usually, right? Like if you owe someone money, they sometimes almost have power over you. Like, you know, you may avoid seeing them if you cannot pay them back, or like it kind of changes everything. So Jupiter in the 8th will encourage you to pay off any debts and to clear, clear any kind of fears or challenges, or even, I think, like even habits, like even if you have negative habits that have a hold of you, would be a great time to focus on releasing those. And finally, your partner's finances may get affected in a really positive way, and you benefit through them. Like they get a new job and, you know, buy you a diamond ring or something. All Leo risings, you get a diamond ring, you get a diamond ring, you get a diamond ring. My Oprah moment. For Virgo risings, Jupiter is entering your 7th house, and 7th house is the place of significant relationships and business partnerships. So this really is good and promising when it comes to entering a marriage or entering a business partnership, anywhere where you have to collaborate with other people, especially on projects that are Jupiterian, that help the world, that are spiritual, that are educational, kind of like a writing collaboration, a teaching collaboration, starting a podcast, anywhere like working with other people could be great. New people can come into your life, Jupiter kind, like wise, spiritual, teacher, archetype type people, and your ability to negotiate will be nicer. And I think if you are in a current relationship, your partner may get a great opportunity and your relationship will generally be improved as well. For Libra risings, Jupiter is your 6th house. So 6th house deals with daily work, routines, health, paying bills, your pets. So you can expect a sense of upliftment or growth in those areas if you are committing to health, if you've been investing, if you felt like health is a little bit confusing because Neptune has been in your 6th house, Jupiter will be helpful. If you're struggling with a health issue, Jupiter can literally bring you the right doctor, like doctor who knows how to treat your condition. If you are working really hard, if you've committed and dedicated a lot of time to a project that requires a lot of energy, takes a lot of your time, Jupiter will make those parts of your life more enjoyable. And I think you will just, in general, will enjoy serving and giving your time and energy to other people. And when it comes to pets, maybe you get a pet. I've been thinking of getting one. And I think your work relationships should also improve, as well as your pet's health or their well-being. For Scorpio rising, I think a really beautiful, fertile, romantic time. Jupiter enters your 5th house. Really, fertile time for getting pregnant with creative ideas, starting new projects, finding ways to have more fun in life. allowing, I think, like allowing your inner child to just enjoy things. Make sure, of course, as always with Jupiter, to not overdo it, because Jupiter can come into your 5th house and you're just like, party, especially Jupiter in a home sign. You know, I've had Jupiter and Aquarius in my 5th house and didn't feel like a party. But I think in Pisces, it can definitely be like boundless. So make sure you are not spending all your money, that you're being still careful and cautious, especially if you don't want to get pregnant, then you have to be extra careful. For Sag risings, Jupiter is coming in your 4th house, and 4th house is home and family and your living situation. I can totally see for some of you getting help from the family, perhaps financially, perhaps you buy a home, perhaps you expand or move somewhere you've been really wanting to move. There's possibly opportunities for mending your relationship with the family, for improving your living situation, and even finding, because 4th house is home and family, but it's also anything that makes you feel safe. And home and family, if you grew up in a happy home, does that for you, right? So for those of you who have been struggling to find peace, this might be like an extra secure time, and I think you can find a lot of comfort in exploring spiritual things. Perhaps, you know, learning more about your astrological placements, or practicing tarot, anything like that. For Capricorn risings, Jupiter enters your 3rd house, and 3rd house deals with communication, your schedule, your siblings. So Jupiter in the 3rd can definitely bring opportunities through neighbors and siblings. It can also bring educational opportunities, similarly to Jupiter in the 9th house for Cancer risings. A chance to write something, a chance to collaborate on a blog or on a podcast with other people. I think Jupiter in the 3rd is great for coming up with new ideas, with getting involved with your local neighborhood and local community, and also just working on your communication style. Like overall, your communication will be, your words will be more sensitive, caring, less judgmental, and more supportive. So anywhere, anything you want to pursue that deals with technology, siblings, schedule, community, writing, you know, like all of those projects will be great. And look back at May into July 2021 to see what was happening at the time and what opportunities presented themselves, but you didn't perhaps act on them. This will be your chance to take that leap. For Aqua risings, Jupiter is coming into your 2nd house, and 2nd house deals with money, but also values. And Jupiter can bring finances for sure, but I think even more so, Jupiter brings spiritual benefits. It will make you feel uplifted because it's how much you value yourself. So Jupiter in the 2nd house will make you feel happier, I think, as well as when it comes to your income and when it comes to making money. It will make you possibly come up with new ways of making money. Could be literal, right? Like I know an Aquarius rising, and she's an accountant because she's like a super Virgo, even though she doesn't believe in astrology. But she's also a yoga teacher. So I think with Jupiter in the 2nd house, facing a choice between the two will be easy, because Jupiter will be like, yoga, duh. You know, what else could you possibly be doing? A great time also to embrace some kind of teaching position at work, to ask for promotion, to reach out to clients, to look for support, and increase your wealth, but perhaps find also ways to increase your spiritual wealth and not just financial. For Pisces rising, this is quite lovely. Jupiter is coming into your 1st house, and I think even though Saturn remains in your 12th, so there's still some deep cleaning of your psyche you have to do. Jupiter in the 1st is very positive. It's 1st house is you. It's your identity. It's your body. It's your health. It's your initiative. So take a look at May into July. What was happening in your life? What kind of new opportunities presented themselves? So with Jupiter in your 1st house, other than feeling more optimistic, your health improving, your vitality improving, you can expect to create your own opportunities. That's, I think, something that's worth mentioning with Jupiter. Jupiter is not forceful. It's not gonna push things on you. It's very much like listen, or, ask and you shall receive. So there might be opportunities to start personal projects, to take better care of your health, to invest into yourself and focus on growth and self-improvement. So as much as you can, focus on your spiritual development, invest energy into building your own skills and taking care of your body, and start things that you haven't been willing to start. Like if you've been holding back, like now is the time to actually do it, because Jupiter is on your side. Happy New Year, everyone. I'll see you in 2022, and I hope you have the best holiday break. Bye.